This is Chris at Florida Music, and we're in front of Groove Agent 3, the new drum and percussion unit from Steinberg. Now it's obviously a VST plugin, DXI plugin, and so on. Works on all platforms, Mac and PC. You can use it standalone, which is what I'm using here. Now, if you've ever seen the Groove Agent 1 and 2, you'll be very familiar with all the buttons and knobs that are on here. There are some changes. The buttons along the top here used to say that the kind of era that the rhythm tracks were played at. Here now they've just got single types of categories, and in the categories, when you click a button, you've got the beats that are within it, which makes sense really. It's a little bit easier to find out what's going on because they're named now, where before they were just not so well named. They were going by timelines. At the bottom here we've got a complexity meter. And this slider allows you to decide how complex the rhythm pattern is. Now, again, if you haven't seen Groove Agent, what it's all about is it's a sound engine module of drums and percussion with built-in grooves. In this case now, they've actually got more grooves. I've always liked the Groove Agent concept because sometimes it's much easier just to press the fill-in button when you want it rather than having to drag patterns to the timeline. So here we go. Let's just play something here and we'll get an idea what goes on. Nice, easy stop and run button. There's your pattern, and anytime I want to fill in, I can just hit this button called fill here. Nice, easy to do. You can do random fills, you can do random patterns. They've got a great half tempo feel where you can put side sticks in, get a new type of groove. And anytime you want, you can change things. So you can modify things straight away. Ambience control here for the room mics if you want it. So it gives you that nice room sound. So all in all, this is very similar. You've got the different types of adjustments here. You can do the tuning, ambience and stuff here, and the outputs. This obviously has multiple outputs, so if you're in a recording platform and you want the bass, drum and snares to be on different channels, is exactly what you can do. Lots of sounds in here. So on the face of it, just pattern changes at the minute, but then it gets really complex and it gets really kind of fine. The import button here, something we've always been waiting for on one of these pattern things, is how can you put your own sounds to the patterns that they've done, and they've allowed you to do that on this new one. So now we can go in here and say I want a new kick drum. Go and select your kicks from wherever you've got your kick storage and say go. You can even pick a different one for the ambience, so you can say I want a different sound and more ambient sound for the second ambience control. Now obviously when they move the control, it moves over to the new sound. That's kind of a sweet deal, otherwise it's just the same one through some sort of reverb. Over here at the left you've got effects channeling. You can import effects if you want to, save all your setups as one save and file. Multiple outputs up to 12 according to this here. EQ, switch on your EQ, adjust your parameters. You've even got a compressor, so that's kind of nice because before we had to go and do it all in the DAW, which was a pain in the neck sometimes because you didn't know how to route the signal through the compressors. So that's kind of sweet. Nice easy buttons to use. Over here we've got the new dual mode. Switch that. We can switch in different stuff at the top here. This new thing, Special Agent, that's actually live drumming. That's something we haven't had before because the other ones, even though it's kind of live drumming on a drum pads, it's going to play a MIDI engine. This one's actually playing back the audio engine in time with the MIDI data. Makes a good idea. Let's see how it works. So here we can pick different patterns. I've got it currently on a slow funk pattern, and here I've got a complexity meter, so I can decide on how much he plays or what he doesn't play. Stop and run. Let's try it out. Very nice pattern. And again, we've got a fill button, controlling live audio with fill. That's kind of new. So as soon as you hit this button and you can run it, you can have an introduction fill or just a fill. So we can do all that kind of thing. We can do the half tempo stuff again with real live audio, automatic filling, automatic random fills if you wish to do that. Again, ambient switches. So this is kind of cool. It's obviously going to be lots of these drummers come out with all their various patterns and various variations. Obviously one pattern, lots of variations. If I move this slider down to a lower level, I'm going to see that I get a much sweeter, sort of softer sound. All right, and if I move it up, it gets more complex. So you can move this around, pick the patterns you want. The bottom here, you've got obviously this was dual mode, and you've got this new feature where you can add something at the bottom. We can add another one of these special agents, the original Groove Agent, or now they've got a new one called Percussive Agent or Percussion Agent. This will allow me to actually add percussion tracks to the live drummer. So here I've got an egg shaker. We can listen to that on its own, or just click the bottom. We can change the complexity. 16's going on there, or just basic. We can adjust things like, again, the tuning, the shuffle amount, groove offset, and so on, which is really kind of a cool feature. Now, of course, if I run these together, we need these both to be synchronized, so there they are. And the fills. Kind of easy. So it's a very easy to use platform here. It's relatively straightforward. I haven't used a book or a manual here to look around this thing. It's very simple. Obviously you can trigger this off via a MIDI keyboard if you got this plugged into your DAW or whatever, and all the MIDI patterns from here will actually transfer to your DAW for further adjustment. So really they've done a great job, but they've really kind of grooved it up. It's got a lot of new features, a lot of new sound, and it's kind of sweet. It's obviously one for the line of groove agents. So this is Chris again from Florida Music, and thanks for watching.